I'm seeing myself. There we go. All right. Am I in the screen yet? There we go. All right. Hello, everybody. I'm Kalila Reynolds, and welcome to another live edition of Taking Stock. We're bringing you all the latest business news and telling you how it will affect you and your money. I want you guys to head over to the website. You got to get on the newsletter, KalilaReynolds.com/newsletter. The link is in the bio. You want to stay up to date with all the latest business news. The newsletter is the best way to do so. It's such an exciting day, guys. I have so much to share with you. Anyway, remember to hit the like button, hit that like button, and subscribe to the channel. And let me know in the chat where you are joining us from. Let me know in the comments below. I see somebody say they are joining from far, far away. Nano sense. Leave it up to Nano sense to join us from far, far away. What a comment gone. Here it is, joining from far, far away. Yes, so that's what's going on. I'm also going to be giving you a behind the scenes look into the new Money Mission membership, which is now open. We are accepting foundation members, guys. I want you to be a foundation member. Troyan is joining from a space near you. All right, cool. So as opposed to far, far away. So here's a look at what's coming up in tonight's show, followed by what's hot in business. And come on, let's get this money.
Kingston Logistics Center just launched 6 new housing solutions, but they're all made from containers. Yup, containers like the ones that you see by the wharf. These container homes caused quite a stir on social media, with people having mixed reactions to them. Joining us to discuss more is Kingston Logistics Center Business Development and Communication Officer Cherine Forbes and Head of Sales and Special Projects Novelette Mathison. And the Analysts weighing on the latest market developments. Digital wallet firm Lynk is making it easier for persons to do transactions cashless. Those changes are shaking up the digital payment space. What possible implications will this have on the banking sector? We'll discuss. But first, here's What's Hot, brought to you by JMMB Group, your best interest at heart. The World Health Organization says it no longer considers COVID-19 a public health emergency of international concern. However, the WHO's Director General Tedros Ghebreyesus warned that COVID-19 is still a global health threat and urged countries not to let their guard down. The Director General highlighted the decreasing trend in deaths and hospitalizations and high levels of population immunity against the virus as reasons for the downgrade. WHO had declared COVID-19 a pandemic on March 11, 2020. Sagicor Group Jamaica says re-establishing Alliance Financial Service as a major player in the Cambia remittance and bill payment arena is a top priority for 2023. Sagicor Group acquired AFSL last year after the company was suspended by the Bank of Jamaica because of charges against its former principals. The suspension meant Alliance was no longer allowed to operate as a remittance and Cambio. This resulted in utility companies barring Alliance from collecting bill payments. Sagicor Group said it will be embarking on an aggressive growth strategy for AFSL to increase its Cambio and remittance locations island-wide. The company also noted that it intends to transform AFSL into an instant payment provider for all utility companies and Sagicor Life. The Jamaica Public Service Company says it raked in $1 billion in revenue in 2022. JPS said its profits were up 28% last year to $54 million US. The company noted that Russia-Ukraine war propelled fuel costs globally, bumping the cost of a kilowatt of electricity to 40 cents US in 2022, up 17.6%. In its annual report, JPS said that electricity sales rose 3% last year as the country continues its recovery from the pandemic. However, JPS said the increased demand was still 3% lower than 2019. Filming on TV shows and movies halted last week as more than 11,000 members of the Writers Guild of America went on strike. The writers are demanding higher pay and better working conditions, noting that many of them cannot support themselves with writing alone. The writers are negotiating with studios over the use of AI tools like ChatGPT, calling for regulation on the use of AI on union projects. They want to make sure that AI can't write or rewrite material, among other human tasks. The last major writer strike in 2007 lasted 100 days and cost the Los Angeles economy over $2 billion. What's Hot was brought to you by JMMB Group, your best interest at heart. This segment of Taking Stock is brought to you by Bulwark Insurance Agency, insurance made easy.
Just 2 hours with me can change your life, but don't take it from me.
Why I decided to buy Khalila's masterclass, which is, for me, was a game changer.
I'm Khalila Reynolds, financial journalist and educator, and I'm on a mission to help you get better with money. Take my all-new Money Mission Masterclass. We're talking about budgeting.
My top things today were about budgeting and investing.
We're kicking bad debt out the door.
And I also learn about how to pay off your credit card debt.
And I'm giving you the keys to wealth creation by helping you getting started with investing.
This masterclass helped me to start my investment journey.
I had so many takeaways.
The way that I look at money now and saving, I look at it different now.
With a bonus module from Keisha Bailey, my girl, the Profit Jumpstarter, who'll show you how to find great companies to invest in.
I've been in the investing industry now for over 18 years.
So give yourself the best gift. Go to KalilaReynolds.com/masterclass to join the Money Mission. Let's get this money. All right, welcome back, everybody. Let me see who's joining us this evening and where you're joining us from. Antoinette was the first person to comment this evening. Good night, all set and ready to go. I've been missing for 2 weeks. Happy to have you back, Antoinette. Glad to see you on the live. Lambtree says, early money makers. I love the early warmers who've been on since even before 8 o'clock. So you're logged in and ready. Delroy says, hello, everyone. Let's get this money. James is joining us all the way from Belarus. What time is it in Belarus, James? Kish says, hello, money makers. Anthony Portmore in the building. Nanosense, far, far away. Javon got home just in time for the show. Glad to have you. Elaine, active in the BVI. Dee joining from Goshen, St. Elizabeth. I was just in St. Elizabeth yesterday. I was in Black River yesterday. And I was like, you know, this is what they mean by country. like yeah, proper country. D Griffiths is in Mobay. Alexandra's in downtown Kingston. Riley's joining from Hanover. Kingston 19 checking in. Christopher checking in. Kish always joining from London. LeVar in Mandeville. Russell in Trinidad and Tobago. Rico in New York. And who else we have? All right, so we have a few more people online, but let's get into our show for this evening. Kingston Logistics Center just launched. Oh, let me take off this comment. Here we go. Kingston Logistics Center just launched 6 new housing solutions. I don't like that phrase, but yeah, housing solutions. They're houses, basically, but they're all made from containers. Yep, containers like the ones that you see by the wharf that transport stuff on sea, via sea, on big ships. So these container homes actually caused quite a stir on social media. There have been mixed reactions to the container homes. But before we head into our main discussion, the KRM team went to check them out for ourselves. So let's take a look.
Hey money makers, it's Sashel. These container homes have been all over social media for the past few weeks. So you know Team KRM had to come and check them out for ourselves. Let's go take a look around.
My name is Marcella Brown, sales rep here at Kingston Logistics Center. This is one of our container homes. We have 6 models. The first one is a Stratum, which is 20 foot, 1 bedroom. 160 square feet is 2.3. twin stratum, which is another 1-bedroom using a 40-foot door, which gives you 320 square foot, is 3.8. The mod, which is a 40-foot, which gives you 2-bedroom, is 320 square feet as well, because it uses a 40-foot, is 4.1. The Madonna, which is the one that is staged, which is here, it is a 40-foot and a 20-foot, which gives you 2 bedrooms, 480 square foot of space at 8.5. Comes complete with a deck and decor roof. The Imperial, which is the 5th one, uses 2 40-foot. You get 3 bedrooms out of that, 640 square foot, and it's 10 million. For the Twin Imperial, use the 2 40-foot and a 20-foot. You get 3 bedrooms as well, and it's 800 square foot, which is 12.5. We have strategically partnered with local companies. Quartz for furnishings, elegant creative design for glass and windows, alternative power for solar power, and Stephen Jones Landscaping for your beautiful greenery. They all come completed with installation, wiring. It's ready to be lived in. It's a turnkey space when we're done.
All right, guys, so there you have it. What do you think? Would you buy a container home? Why or why not? Let us know in the comments below. Let's get this money.
All right, thank you so much, Sashel. I was just like vibing to the music. So Jason says, nah lie, I like it. But Elaine says, the price tag is crazy. So I want to hear what you think so far about what you're seeing from these container homes. But we're going to talk some more about it. Right now, I'm excited. Joining us to discuss, we have from Kingston Logistics Center, their Business Development and Communications Officer, Cherine Forbes, and Novelette Henry Mathison, who is the Head of Sales and Special Projects. Hi, Novelette. Hi, Cherine.
Hi, Camila. Thanks for having us.
How are you ladies doing?
We're well. Absolutely great. Barring all things equal, I am great.
Yeah, so you're the hot topic for the past week or so. Container homes have been a hot topic all over social media, everybody talking about it. So you're in a good position right now when you have a business and you're the talk of the town.
Yes, we're embracing and welcome all the tractions that we have been getting. First of all, let me say hi to your viewers. And as I'm saying, yes, we welcome the traction that we've been getting from our launch. And we are happy to be out there providing this, generating this conversation on what we have launched, but more so happy to be able to put this product out there, to the Jamaican public.
All right, so before you tell us about the container homes and this product, I won't say new product because you've been doing it for a while, but tell us about Kingston Logistics Center. So many people might not be familiar with your business. Who is Kingston Logistics Center? What do you guys typically do?
Should I take it or Miss Now?
Either one of you can take it.
Okay. Kingston Logistics Center is an all-inclusive logistics hub. We deliver logistics to the public faster, easier, and smarter. And our logistics solutions are extensive. We offer stripping services for persons who have their container that they want to have examined by Jamaica Customs. We have a warehouse or 2 warehouses for personal effects and commercial cargo. Persons who come with their barrels and boxes and so on, they can also have their cargo stored at our warehouse. Beyond that, we offer container sales. We do container retrofitting, and as mentioned before, our container retrofitting was being done on a customization basis and mostly for commercial premises, commercial offices, storage units, clinics, or police posts, that kind of thing. So now we're getting into the container homes as just getting into the residential side of retrofitting. We also offer freight forwarding services, custom brokerage, everything that is related to logistics, we offer those services. So again, it's the all-inclusive logistics hub that offers you the services faster, easier, and smarter.
And you've been doing this, like you said, for over 10 years already. A lot of people might not even realize that some of the offices that they visit are made from containers.
Indeed. Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's correct. We have been involved in the development of a lot of the offices and projects that the private sector has out, container units from the private and the public sector. We have worked with major international companies to do container solutions. Again, a lot of it is for office space, and so it has been our mainstay for more than a decade. And therefore, the transition now into residential was just a natural progression for us.
What drove that transition? Did you notice demand for these homes? Why you decided to start offering it for residential?
Well, as it is, as you know, in Jamaica, there's a great need for housing. If you will observe just driving around in the city, even you'll see that there's a need, because there's a lot of quote unquote ghetto slums areas that we think people could be living in a more aesthetically pleasing, dignified
yes.
surrounding,
Yes.
And so we're saying, why not use these to clean up these areas, and so we have. But in addition to clean up the slums and ghetto areas, it can also, it's not for low income, it's not only for the destitute and homeless. It can be used also for the elites, persons who have the wherewithal to purchase a home, one or two, or even just for investment in terms of using them as Airbnbs. The sky's is the limit for them. And so we recognize that there is a demand, and so we're meeting that demand.
So we already have a lot of questions and comments in our chat, in our live chat. So let me start taking some of the questions from the audience from now, since I want to get to as many of them as possible. Jason wants to know, how are these houses wired for electricity?
Well, typically like any regular conventional block and steel wooden houses, just a typical wiring of electricity. It's the wiring is pretty much done behind the insulation.
Yes.
It's not mounted on surface. So once you go in the space, you not see any sort of wire sticking out. It's behind the insulation and ready for connection, approved by a general electrician in order for persons to make that connection to their power source. Mainly in Jamaica, it would be JPS.
Okay, so normal wiring, nothing different.
Normal wiring. Mm-hmm.
Sean says, can these containers support vertical expansion without it collapsing? So can you build upstairs and,
Absolutely, Kalido. Thank you for that question, Sean. Like again, any conventional structure, if you're going to expand with a second level, you have to ensure that your foundation has that capacity to accommodate that weight. And so it's important to ensure that your foundation is built out as such. So yes, the short answer is yes.
Yeah, and I have seen 2-story container offices. I've even seen a 3-story container office. My brother used to work in one. And I was like, oh, I didn't know they did that. So yeah.
Yes.
So you just stack another container on top? How does that work?
Yeah, pretty much you just stack another one on top. Once your foundation, as I mentioned, has the capacity to accommodate the weight. Considering that these containers are usually outfitted with a drywall finish, ceramic tiles, or porcelain, whatever the customers choose. And of course, if it's a house setting, you're going to have your granite countertop or whatever type of material a customer chooses to use. So it's going to come with some weight. And so, of course, you're going to have persons also using the space And so the foundation is very critical that the foundation has the capacity to accommodate that amount of weight that we will use to outfit the unit, as well as persons using the space. They're stackable because I don't know if you've been on the port or even just by driving, if you're heading to Portmore side, you would see hundreds of containers stocked on the port, and they're so built, the precision of how these containers are structured, they are stackable. So yes.
A question that I had, right? When I heard about container homes, I was like, cool. So if you move, you can just hitch up your container home to a big truck and carry your house with you. But is that how it works? Like, can you move it after you've put it down somewhere?
Well, the quick answer for a single unit, yes, you can actually do that, because a typical container has a width of 8 feet wide, and so that can just go on a flatbed or a truck head, and you hook that up and take it to your location of choice. But when you go multiple, joining more than one units, it's not as simple, but it can be dismantled because they're welded together ultimately. And so, of course, they can be dismantled and then reassembled at another location.
Okay,
So,
because I was also wondering that if you can just pick it up and move it, then somebody could thief your house.
No, not in that respect. Not in that respect.
That's an important thing as well for consideration, Kalila. Whilst you may be able to transport it and to use it as a mobile option, if you were, for instance, seeking financing, then it's highly unlikely that someone would finance a mobile home like that. Mm-hmm. They would require that it be set in the foundation and rooted and grounded so that their investment will be safe. Therefore, if you are seeking financing from a financial institution, then it is quite likely that you would have to make it a permanent structure wherever your foundation is.
Okay, so you build a foundation and you basically stick on the container home onto the foundation.
Yes.
So
It's right. Sticking is not the term, Kalila. It is
trying to make it
properly affixed to the foundation by way of when you're building your foundation, you're going to leave out the steel coming out of ground, and then you're going to use a steel plate with some jade bolts to affix that to the foundation, so it's not going anywhere. And somebody cannot come overnight and cut it off and go. But certainly, once you want to move it, it can be removed.
Okay, cool. All right, so Big Kev says, great idea, long overdue for these container homes. Who else? Old Harbor, Nano Sense says, the Old Harbor Fire Station in St. Catherine off South Street and Walker's Road were built out of containers. We have a question from Island Kid who wants to know, how hurricane-proof are these solutions, given that we live in the tropics?
Well, containers are built for sea conditions. They are originally, containers are built to be seaworthy. And being seaworthy means that it must be able to stand up to hurricanes, storms, monsoons, everything that you can imagine at sea. The containers are built to withstand that. They're made from curtain steel, and it is already set up to withstand the rough weather conditions. Therefore, when it is used for a home, it is actually a very, very sturdy option, and I dare say it would be a more sturdy option than some of the options that we have presently, because it is already steel. It is already built for hurricane. Now, the only other thing would be to ensure that it is rooted and grounded properly in the foundation. And that is what we would be offering, the solution in terms of how to set up your foundation to ensure that your container home is sturdy and set in the ground, and it's not going anywhere, as Ms. Now said.
Okay. All right. So more question. You mentioned that the containers are, built for seaworthiness, right? And built with that in mind. But they are also built, not the homes, the containers themselves are built for cargo, not people, right? So does it get really hot in a container home? What is it like actually living in one?
Yes, if you go in a container without it being retrofitted, yes, it's going to be hot. It is steel, and certainly steel attracts heat. But of course, once we retrofit it, we have different methodologies that we'll use to retard that heat. And so once you purchase one of our container, you will not have a heat concern. Like any typical other building, conventional building solution, if a space is locked up and you open it, yes, it's gonna feel hot. But once you have that cross flow ventilation coupled with our methodology of retarding the heat, no, you won't have a heat concern. And all our containers, container homes, upcycle container homes, or provision is there for air condition. Not saying you have to install air condition to get that coolness, because you don't need to, because we have ample ventilation which will allow the space to cool readily.
Okay, so that answers a couple of questions that I see and comments that I see online. So Sean was saying, imagine how hot the houses must be. If concrete house hot, imagine house made out of iron. But you just answered that, right?
You know what, Sean? Sean, I dare you. I dare you to come to Kingston.
Invite him down, Cherine. Invite him down.
Listen, I'll bet you money.
But
visit our model home, and we can test it. We can test it and test it for your viewers, Kalila. So Sean will come back and let you know, right?
Yes.
Jaja, if it hot or not.
As a follow-up.
Well, Jason also points out, he says, if these are solar powered, then the heat will not be a problem because you can afford air conditioning.
And you have the option for solar. Our model unit here now is powered up. It hosts, it can pretty much, it has a capacity for all lights, refrigerator, if you have a refrigerator, did I say stove? With your television,
right?
It can be powered up. And we have a strategic partner, alternative power source, who will be able to come in and do an assessment depending on the capacity that you need to operate your space.
Okay,
and
so that
also to support that, Kalila, alternative power, along with some of our other strategic partners, are offering special container home loans to support the access to the container homes. So alternative power, if you make a purchase of your container home, will be able to offer you a special discount on your solar power if you wanted to add that as an amenity to your unit. Likewise, Quartz Jamaica Limited for furniture and appliances, Stephen Jones Landscaping, and Elegant Creative Designs. If you wanted to add further or upgrade with your windows and doors and rails, that kind of thing, they are also there to support. So we are in fact creating an ecosystem that will support hopefully every aspect that is needed for you to have a good container home and fully accessible to the market.
So that starts to answer another question. A lot of people in the comments are asking about the price, and some of them, so Debbie says, I'm having a mixed feeling about the price. And then Troyan says, 140-foot container is now roughly $1 million. So what exactly are we getting other than just a container that costs $4 million plus? So you're explaining that you actually retrofit it. So tell us what all goes into the container, why it costs this much more than just a regular container that's not retrofitted.
Is Cherine? What's her name?
Troyan.
Troyan Browning. To answer your question, you one of a viewer earlier asked if it was hot, and the response to that was no, because once we outfit it, it's not, you're not going to have a heat concern. And in addition to just dealing with the heat, there are other materials that goes into retrofitting the unit. And I have to always refer to the conventional building. that once you are going to outfit a container, it's pretty much the same thing goes into retrofitting a container as what would go into a conventional space, because everybody wants it to be aesthetically pleasing, comfortable, and of course, the similar materials that are used as a finish is also used in outfitting a container. So you're not just going to get a hot box, no.
Yes, and to add to that, Troyan, I mean, we are offering upcycled container homes. We're not offering trailer trash solutions.
Yes.
Therefore, when we're finished, the home looks like a home that you would be happy to live in or happy to use as your investment solution. Many persons come in and see it as the perfect solution for an Airbnb. So we're talking about the faucets, we're talking about tiling, toilets, face basin, windows, the doors, the ceiling. Like there are so many things. And again, the heat retardant insulation, the drywall, the exterior, the paint, all of those things add up. If you were to go to the hardware right now and start really penciling it, you would see how very quickly you're getting to the price tag that we're at. And as you rightly said, the cost of the containers is also significant in the mix. So for persons who have never had a realtor come and visit us and say that the prices are high, in fact, the realtors are usually like really, really impressed at the prices that we have for the container homes, because they're familiar with the market and they know that this, for what you're getting for the square footage, it is a great deal. Yeah.
Here's another common question in the chats right now. Kimari says, definitely interested. However, purchase of a container home, does that include the land also?
No, no, the land is not included. You have to own land or at least or lease land, because I mean I know you have that option out there where persons can lease land. So the land is not included. What we do, we build out the unit. So what we're offering is just the unit. Persons will have to have their land and build their foundation and all external works, to include, of course, your sewage, and of course have the unit ready. The unit will be electrically wired, ready for connection to your power source. So the short answer to that, you have to have your land.
Right.
All right, next question. We all know that metal rusts. How long would a container home last?
A typical container can last up to 30 years. But of course, like any conventional space, I mean, as part of our culture, every Christmas we're painting our houses and we are changing this. We're doing all sorts of things to make your house look appeasing, to passerby and of course yourself. So similar to how we do that for traditional spaces, the same thing will obtain. Maintenance is important, but a typical container can last up to 30 years without any sort of maintenance. So imagine you doing your maintenance, you can get a good service life out of it.
And also, you would have noticed that the facades are added.
Right.
So
I was about to add that.
An additional lifespan.
Protection, right.
What's added?
The facade that we have on the exterior, that in itself also will assist in, keeping, not exposing the metal so much to the elements. So that will also preserve the unit.
Yes.
Richard wants to know, how does the cost of a container home compare to building a conventional home of comparable size?
Richard, have you seen the housing market recently?
That's an easy one.
Listen.
That's an easy one, Richard. Maybe we should ask Cherine, let's ask Richard to do his research. Come back and tell us.
Yes, for a 2
We're not going to respond to Richard. We're going to ask Richard.
Yes.
Do a little research. You can even just go online now and come back before Cherine.
Yes.
And Cherine closes our show.
Yes.
Come on, I want you guys to tell us. Well, I guess it depends on where you put it, right?
Richard to do his homework.
Richard is my husband, by the way, and we're actually in the process of buying a house.
It's even better. It's even better.
So I think he knows.
So
but we
you would
want
be,
you to give the
you would be
people the
very exposed
information.
to the quest to the
All
numbers
right,
out there.
so in terms of purchasing a house or a home, the first thing is going to be the location. So the location will matter in terms of what is the final figure. But the market now, you're looking at apartment complexes or 2-bedroom apartments in the 36, 38, $40 million range. Certainly in Kingston, going out of Kingston, you may be able to get something a little bit better. But then for a brand new setup that is a turnkey solution like what we're offering, there's nothing on the market that could compare to
Compares.
Yeah, I guess a lot of it has to do with the cost of the land, so where you decide to put it. So
yes.
Yeah, land is a big factor in housing.
It's a
So
big factor.
if you're trying to find a lot in Kingston 6, which first of all, I don't even know if that exists.
Yes, it is.
That alone is going to drive up your cost.
Yes.
But there are persons who have a lot of land all over Jamaica, not just in Kingston, and especially if you're going to use it as an investment, like for Airbnb, it's something for those persons to look at and utilize those land that been sitting there that has been willed by their grandmother, great grandparents, that sort of thing. And just to utilize those lands that out there.
Right. So I'm going to take a couple more questions. There are so many questions in the chat. Clearly, there is a lot of interest in these container homes because the chat is just on fire this evening. So I'm going to take a couple more. Christopher says, what record do you have on the containers to determine the contents that it transpired? Do you have the complete history of the container?
No, we're not the shipping line, so we really don't have the history on a container. But what we know is that most containers are used to transport consumable items like dry goods, frozen goods. They're used to transfer food in general, consumable items. So we don't have a concern about that.
And then Ryan wants to know, what's the cost to transport the container home to, say, Mandeville? I guess Ryan is in Mandeville. What transportation would be an additional cost, wouldn't it?
An additional. Indeed.
And do you provide the transportation?
Yes, we do provide the transportation. So you need a truck to transport the unit from our facility to the destination or the location of choice. And of course, you're going to need a crane to position it on the foundation. Just to give you an idea for costs, not cast in stone, because inflation is always on the rise. For that, you could be looking at about 220,000 Jamaican dollars plus GCT. And like I said, that comes with a crane to spot it.
Okay. All right, so let's take a look at some of the final comments. I don't have any time for more questions, but lots of comments here in the chat. Michelle said, I would love to own one. James says, bro, God live in a concrete house, so that more want to. Russell says, they're nice.
Nothing's wrong with that.
Jason says, Americans live in trailer homes. They even have trailer communities. This is, I don't know if I would compare these to trailer homes, though. Would you?
They're upcycled. Can I say upcycled? And you will see it in our pictures. You will see it on social media platforms and so on. We have made the deliberate decision to position our products as a bit, really something that is nice and dignified. We heard the concerns. We heard what the market needed in terms of a solution that is an affordable solution.
Affordable.
Nobody wants to live in a trailer park. And therefore, we didn't want to invest our money either in a trailer park solution. So our solution is really quite attractive. And we're very, very proud of what we have.
We're proud of our product. We are indeed proud of our product, and we stand by our product.
All right. Well, how can people contact you? Levar says he wants to know the price for 2 containers. Retrofitted, Levar, or regular? Well, he must be asking about retrofitted. So your price is
a 2-bedroom he's speaking to?
I suppose so. He says 2 containers. I don't know.
Well, he has to
Well, we
clarify.
have two solutions. The prices are between 2.3 to 12.5. So it depends on which of the container homes he would be speaking to. We also do the sale of containers. So if he wants a quotation, he can email us at sales@klcjamaica.com for the quotation. Yes.
Oh, let me take this last question. I said I was going to end it, but this is taking stock. We always ask business questions on this show. So LeVar says, let's talk IPO because I see this company going big once we get the NHT on board with the mortgages. I don't know if any of you are in a position to speak to that because I don't think you're the owners of the company, but is it something that you think the company would consider going public, taking this on?
Tell LeVar to order his first 100.
Orders first.
We'll have a conversation after.
Yes, orders first.
100 container
and we'll see how you feel about getting some profit share or losing some.
All right, cool. Well, thank you so much, ladies, for telling us more.
But let me quickly say we can be reached at 876-619-2836 or 28 or 40. Our Insta page is at KLCJM. Our Facebook is Kingston Logistics Center. And we can be reached by email, as Cherine mentioned, sales@klcjamaica.com.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much once again. A lot of interest in this topic. Guys, I want to invite you to take our poll for this evening. So before we take a break, take tonight's poll. What do you think about container homes? So take our poll on the community tab or on Twitter. I want one for myself. Would be a great investment property. I would never live there. I need more info or other, and just leave a comment and let us know what you think. What do you think about container homes? Up next, we've got your market recap, and the analysts are standing by.
This segment of Taking Stock was brought to you by Bulwark Insurance Agency, Insurance Made Easy.
Hey, moneymakers, join the KRM fam with our official merch. Get it now at KalilaReynolds.com. Let's get this money.
The JC Combined Index lost over 2,000 points, or nearly 1% last week. 127 stocks traded across the main and junior markets for the week ending Friday, May 5, 2023. 54 made gains, 60 lost value, and 13 stayed the same. 98 million shares changed hands on the Jamaican dollar market, valued at $611 million. Trans-Jamaican Highway was the week's most traded stock. It took up 24% of market volume, with 24 million shares trading. The stock opened Monday at $1.79. Carreras traded the second highest. The stock lost 17 cents to open this week at $8.50. And Wigton rounded out last week's most traded, with 9 million shares changing hands. The stock lost 1 cent to open Monday at 78 cents. Now let's see who had the biggest gains for the week. 138 Student Living Variable Preference was the week's biggest gainer. The stock was up almost 19% to open Monday at $104.50. PBS USD was the second biggest gainer. It went up almost 19% to start the new week at $1.90 US. And Epley 7.5% preference shares due 2024 was up 15% to open the week at $6.90. On the losing side now, JPS 7% was last week's biggest loser, down 40%. The stock opened Monday at $75.30. KLE Group fell 20% to open the new week at $1.61. And Raid Jamaica fell almost 18%, closing the week at $1.78. Over on the Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange, the composite index gained 10 points last week. National Enterprises was the most traded stock. It opened this week at $3.74 TT. Answer Merchant Bank was the market's biggest gainer, up 8% to open this week at $45.74 TT. And on the losing side, Port Lisa's Industrial Port Development Corporation fell 11% to open Monday at $3.82 TT. Over in the US, the Dow Jones lost 1% last week, while the S&P 500 dipped almost 1%, and the Nasdaq remained stable. At the pumps, the price of 87 gas dropped $2.40 last week, while 90 dropped $2.90. Diesel prices, on the other hand, fell $4.50. In foreign exchange, it took an average $154.59 Jamaican to purchase $1 last Friday. That's $1.28 more than a week before. Meanwhile, it took an average $115.85 Jamaican to purchase $1 Canadian. One British pound cost on average $194.14 Jamaican, and you could buy €1 for $171.99 Jamaican on average. Finally, on the crypto markets, Bitcoin prices were down almost 4% over the past 5 days, with the cryptocurrency trading at $27,965 US on Monday, and Ethereum fell 2%, trading at $1,867 US on Monday. This segment of Taking Stock, The Analyst, is brought to you by JMMB Group, your best interest at heart, and Profit Jumpstarter. Disclaimer: this is not intended as financial advice. Please consult a licensed financial advisor before making investment decisions.
Welcome back, guys. Before we join the analyst, let me take a couple more questions because the chat is on fire tonight. Nana Sen said, I'm seriously thinking of buying one of those homes for my farm. And then Richie did the research. They challenged him to do it. And he says to build something of comparable size, it will cost you about $12.8 to $13 million. Which size though, Richie? That's for the small one? Which size would that be for? Give me some more research, because the container homes come in different sizes. They start at less than $3 million. They go up to about $12 million. So to build something of comparable size, for which one? Which one would cost you about $13 million? Let me know. All right, before we end the show, I'm gonna come back to Richie. Hopefully he has the answer. But in the meantime, let me introduce our analyst panel for this evening. And it's just one person. So the panel is me and you, Clive. I'm joined by equity trader at JMMB, Clive Charlton. Welcome back, Clive. Great to have you.
Thanks for having me again. Let me see if you're better off with this. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes.
Okay, great. Yes. Yeah, welcome. And thank you for having me again. Always a pleasure.
What were you saying? Let me see if you're better off with what?
No, I just plugged in the earphone. So
the earphone.
wondering if you can hear me better.
Cool. All right, so tonight you want to talk about changes in the digital payment space and the potential implications. So you guys would have noticed that there is an increased thrust towards digital payments, and you have traditional players in the banking industry also signaling interest in this space. What can you tell us about what's going on right now? Because every time I do a video about cashless, people come for me and then vex. So what's happening with digital payments?
Yes. Well, I think first and foremost, I think it's a natural evolution of technology. We have more efficient machines. We have cars that can perhaps self-drive one day. It's just natural that a system that relies heavily on a process, also digitize itself. And several developments have taken place. The natural progression of technology is one thing, but in the new space of international conflict, if we can call it that, there are some countries that have used digital currencies to bypass the use, for example, the U.S. currency. The U.S. that is managed. It is in terms of its monetary policy by the United States, and we're aware of some countries that have used digital currencies to bypass the U.S. payment system in the U.S. currency, right, hoping to avoid some sanctions implemented by the U.S. government. So, also in Jamaica. Part of the whole digital transformation is also the issue of central bank digital currencies. We know in several third world economies, largely in very rural areas, it is found that persons are easier. They don't have access to banks. Persons are unbanked, don't have access to machines. And we see just recently some developments in Jamaica also. So you may see more persons moving to this digital transformation and more institutions adopting this digital transformation. Right? And it is a very broad area also. It is not just financial products that can generate revenue, but for example, DOJ, the CBDC, Central Bank Digital Currency, the name of ours is JamDex. That really is to facilitate a new way of carrying currencies, of moving money, of people doing transactions. It is the same currency, the Jamaican currency, but it is in a digital form. Okay, so that is one aspect of the whole digitalization. And I think it's just part of the natural evolution of advancement in technology that is impacting every aspect of life, from the type of clothes we wear to the, as a matter of fact, even in sports, the material used on clothes and bikes, every sport makes it go faster, efficiencies of business. So the financial sector, whereas a productive company, a real productive company might buy a machine that is more efficient, can put out X output per period of time or per unit of cost. Banks are doing the same thing also, financial institutions in general.
But why do you think Jamaicans are so resistant to any form of digital payments? Because every time I put out a video on this topic, Clive, and I'm cool with it, I'm a proponent and advocate for digital, payments. But every time I put out something on it, the backlash, the negative comments, people feel like it's a whole conspiracy to get you to give the government your information. Do you think this will ever really take off in Jamaica?
It will, and I think it must. It will, it will. Interestingly, with the pandemic, the social media, the whole is so pervasive that everyone now has access to spread their ideas and their thoughts that really sometimes are just theirs, and they find out that they can find an audience in the far reach of the globe that previously they didn't have access to. And I think every little J and every Jack who has sense or no sense can now speak and spread fear among people. But let's not discount the concerns people have. It is born out of distrust sometimes, Do we trust our government? Do we trust our leaders of government? That's the important thing. Is business and the workers moving in one steady, to build an economy, So are banks finding a new way to charge fees for every action, Are they giving you options to decide whether you want to be charged or not? So I think these are some questions. For persons who evade tax or who want to pay less tax, they might think that this is another way to trap them, to trap their expenditure. You see? So you can buy a car with cash, have it there, enjoy it. The government don't know that you're earning this income, but they can now track you electronically. So I think these are the distrust that has developed in the minds of people. And if it is properly explained, and we develop the trust factor in terms of the actual technology being used and perhaps the information that is gleaned from this technology. If it is properly stored in a safe manner, I think people will become more comfortable with it. But sooner or later, we'll find out that even the individual benefits significantly from the new digital movement towards this new system and process. But I think, distrust, I think, and if we can kind of work on that part, we will have a more acceptable populace.
So right as I was saying, people don't trust the government, and here we go, Orville saying this currency, this digital currency is to control people. Troyan saying definitely don't trust the government, much less the banks. But Philip is agreeing with you. He says 100% agree, Clive, it will come. You said it must come. Why must it come? Why is it so important for us to move in this direction?
Okay. Usually things happen over time and things grow. Let's look at the development in just recently in Jamaica, where the criminal network are targeting these money trucks. What will they do next? They'll probably just start standing out at an ABM. Just wait. We saw that hoax, that social media hoax that was being run by a few guys, where they're approaching people, which was just cruel, approaching people Oh, it was a joke. You saw it? I'm not sure if you saw it on the
No,
news.
which hoax is that? What was that?
Some guys approach persons coming out of the machine as if they were going to rob them, literally telling them, and they are filming it and post it on social media, literally telling them, it was on TV, to go into your bag, give me your money. And these people are terrified, it's shaking, crying, and then they tell them it's just a joke. But things like that will push. I'm sure those persons,
robbery prank? That is
yes, in Jamaica here.
Oh my God.
And apparently it was so popular. It was on news. It made the media, and it was being recorded. And the police got involved. And the guys were, I'm not sure if they were arrested and charged, but they were certainly brought in because they were there on screen, being shown all over social media. And they thought it was okay. Visitors came to the island, Jamaican visiting family, and that particular one was filmed. I'm not sure she brought it to the public attention, but that particular one was filmed. And you can see how traumatized the lady was being, quote unquote, robbed by these guys. Digging into her handbag, right? But things like that though, right? So that is one reason, at least on our local domestic side, might move people to want to, do things digitally. Huh? Let's look on the government side now. CBDC, we're reaching a more remote populace that doesn't have access to physical banks. 2, banks are getting more efficient in their operations. Rather than have huge banking halls with all the associated cost, material, land, building, light, water, AC, chairs, everything that goes with it, pens and paper. They are now cutting that down and having more digitalized centers manned by fewer people, and they have your machine that has all the information. They're not writing down anything, and so banks are all cutting back. If banks are cutting back, other areas would have to move alongside that, draw towards efficiency. We talk about the safety concerns. We talk about the government wanting to bank. And we saw during COVID, where it was necessary, that there were so many unbanked persons, they could not get the benefit that the government was giving them. Also during COVID, you don't want to go into a banking hall. You can order food from home electronically. It is delivered to you. So all these things are development from other things, other catastrophic, other diseases. Sorry, not disease, but other, perils, global in this case. So it's a natural thing that will occur as there are changes in other aspects of life. So we talk about the health part. We talk about the government trying to reach the unbanked. We talk about business entities trying to cut costs in hard physical infrastructure. But look at what are some other costs. Currencies. It costs to make currencies. The Jamaican currency is made abroad. There's technology involved in trying to make it less counterfeitable. There's a cost to that. Each time you're going to introduce a new denomination, there's a cost to that. The cost of transportation of money. For example, I can tell you when you go to sell or buy cash, let's say to sell cash to NCB, JMB, any other physical institution, you get less for your cash than you do for a check. Why? Because that cash, especially a foreign currency cash, is not a Jamaican currency. It must be transported back to its domicile country. This is where correspondent banks come into. That is correspondent banks, meaning banks in the US that handles business in their currency with our local counterpart. You see, so this is why you get less for cash. Even though you might say, "What I'm giving them cash?" Yeah, they have to certify that cash. They have to count that cash. They have to stack and process that cash. They have to transport it back overseas. Okay, so there's a cost to it that is eliminated somewhat. Right? The cost of producing paper money. Yes, the cost of producing paper money. I didn't know that part. Yes, really interesting, right? And of course, the cost of producing paper money. That money is produced in another country. So those are some of the issues. And of course, we spoke about in terms of international politics. When the US can put restrictions on various economies in the use of their currency. We talk about Jamaica and the issue of drugs and what you call criminal money. Remember they put some threat, for want of a better word, on our local banks, the correspondence banks, in terms of and when they had this drawdown on remittance and cambios and all these things who exchange money, because that was a means of exchanging criminal currency. So these are things again, and that's a regulatory issue that is forcing us to digitize. So there are many, many reasons outside. We talk about the health pandemic, we talk about the political, international political situations, we talk about the cost efficiency, businesses getting more efficient in their systems and processes. We talk about
security,
regulatory, talk about security. So these things are naturally pushing us towards digitization, right? Of course, technology, we must produce our own local, and I think we have a good fair number of them. I mean, we have a lot of young people now who are skilled in this technology. That is good for us. Where do we store this information? You know, I've done a little bit of reading where quite a few countries, China, India, several other countries are now telling Amazon, Facebook, that they want the information on their people and their country domiciled and stored on servers in their country, or in some countries that they consider safer or neutral or something. Even the big US, they fear the US and what the US. So the US is talking about China and TikTok and information that the Chinese government can glean from them. Other countries are also concerned about Facebook. We talk about the use of technology. So those are the security features that our government will have to work alongside business enterprises to ensure that there's security in this new system. But we're moving towards that. It's just a natural progression of humanity.
All right, so I have a few comments here online about this whole thing. So Christopher says, I think once the Data Protection Act is up and running and properly regulated, then there will be more confidence in the digital currency. So that's a good point. Philip says, when moving money is seen as clearly cheaper than winning, for me, is the security. I mean, these whole beryllium robberies are a big proof of that. Sean says the banks are pushing efficiency but not security. Even the Visa card tap payment is scary. How do you respond to that one, Clive?
You know, everything that is developed, there's a counterpart to it. There's someone on the other side of the fence, you know, in terms of integrity, that is developing, you know, some tool to, you know, to work the system, right? And what I find interesting too, in the card readers, what I find with the US economy, which seem to be very, very built on profiteering and making money, you think that a card reader, where do these people get card readers? Somebody designs it and sells it, knowing fully well that this is probably used in some criminal action. I mean, look at, we have our on our motor car, the police, you know, in order to track speed, to reduce, you know, for public safety reason, and protection of public property and people's life. The radar reader, someone builds and sells radar detection system that you can put in a car. So that again goes against the trend of public order and public safety. So there's someone out there, including institutions, well-regulated, structured, legal business enterprises, especially in the Western countries, that know that they will build these devices, build these systems that they know is to be used for other means. You see? So that is the nature of it. And we just have to work the system around it to see how best we can mitigate these negative consequences. Yeah. And that is the development of a new industry in the whole IT infrastructure also.
Speaking of the IT infrastructure, Lamtree has a comment. Yet when you go see place to, okay, you're all mixed up here. The card machine is always down.
Yes.
Is the essence of the comment.
Yes.
Yet when you go there, the card machine always down.
Down. Yes. Well, you know, that happens. As it is now, I don't see the elimination of cash within the next, let me reasonably say 5, 10, 15 years. I don't see a complete elimination of cash. And I believe that as much as we see technology here and we're near to our first world country, US, and we trade heavily with them, and our whole taste, our, you know, how we think, how we reason, what we desire mirrors almost what is in the US. So we are fairly advanced. We have access to technology. We see technology. You know, we buy technology easily, and we have ways and means of buying it. But there are some jurisdiction far away, far removed, that is just not ready, not prepared, don't have the infrastructure, and really the people are not, their senses are not really moving in that direction of digitization. They will continue to use cash, right? So I don't see a massive move. We just have to balance it for the time being. We may have to have machines that are closer to home. I'm not sure if it makes much of a difference now, but the banks can now put machines nearer to police stations.
You mean the ATM? When you say machines, I mean ATM.
ATMs, yeah, right. I think that's a matter of security, and we really just have to find new ways and means of guaranteeing the safety of not just people, individuals, but also people's investments. You know?
I think there's going to have to be major incentives to get people to overcome the trust issue and actually try it out and use it.
Yes.
The businesses, the vendors, they're all going to have to offer incentives for you to use digital payments, since that trust issue is a big hurdle to overcome. Philip says, read on the evolution of digital money in Ghana. From 2009, and start pushing it. There are now more cashless accounts than there are people. That's like when in Jamaica, most people had 2 phones, and there are more phones than people in Jamaica. That's what happens in Ghana with digital currency. And I did a video on this either this week or last week about digital payments in Kenya, in Ghana, in many African countries where this is like really advanced, and the vast majority of their economy is run via digital payments and all the benefits that comes with.
And that came out of a need. Again, most of the people are unbanked, you see. But what it shows, just like Jamaica, I mean, in the 1960s, 70s, we had one of the best housing solution systems in the world, right? Jamaica would send delegation all across the world to help them with their housing. Third world countries develop ideas, develop systems and tools to move ahead. And they're way ahead of first world countries in many times. But what is interesting about technology, I have seen documentaries from in the latter part of the 1990s, early 2000s, where in Japan, they were using their phones to go onto the train, to buy things in retail outlets, to view their children at the daycare center, daycare wherever, to view and watch their children. So these people are doing a whole lot with this digital technology long before the US. We are now awoken to Apple, as if Apple is the great thing. Apple is not the great thing, but I say we are closer and nearer to them. We have their cable channels, we believe, that. But look at Africa. They have been leading this digital currency thing for like the last 10 years or so, way ahead of the rest of the world. Yeah? We know the Eastern Caribbean also. I think St. Lucia, maybe the OECS, several countries in the OE Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, they have a common currency, right? And a common monetary system. They have introduced CBDC also, right? So quite a few sections of the world are way advanced. I mean, not in its totality, but in some aspect. I know that in Kenya, in Ghana, and I think Nigeria and several other African countries, the little monochrome phones, people are using that to do transactions like many years ago.
From around 2008, and I remember Jamaica started trying to implement this, and they just kind of the people who started it, the banks mainly, didn't really put much resources into it, and they just let it die. And now these countries have come and they've just are using it to really boost their economy. But we're going to have to leave it there, Clive. Thank you so much for joining us and having this enlightening conversation about digital payments and where we are moving as a country, and where you said we have to move. As much as people might not like it, this is where the world is heading. We'll take a quick break and come back with comments. There are a lot of comments in the chat tonight, and I will give you a sneak peek at our membership money mission membership community, which I'm inviting you to join. We'll be right back.
This segment of Taking Stock, The Analyst, was brought to you by JMMB Group, your best interest at heart, and Profit Jumpstarter.
All right, so I'm back. Sean says, here so we reach have to live in container house because foreigners inflate the housing market in Jamaica. Troyan says, I would use the container house for tourism purposes, but he also says, there goes container prices. So I don't know, because they're being used all over the world, not just in Jamaica, but I don't know if this is going to impact the prices of containers locally. Roswell said, new style of house people will buy in terms of affordability. That idea of housing solution is not new new. It's just being introduced to our market. Kilo says, love the idea. Hope it takes off. People need alternatives to $37 million apartments. Facts. Jamrock, oh no, trailer homes are a different thing. The homes you're offering are much better. They built a home recently in Miami and you would never know. Very nice. Juliet says, this was a great question. I wish I saw this question earlier. Juliet wanted to know, would you need approval from the parish municipal corporation to place one of these units on your property? I don't know. Perhaps the team can reach out to the ladies and ask that question. Christopher says, good discussion on the container homes. The complete history of the container would be good info, what it transported and the lifespan. I wouldn't buy a container that has passed 25 years in a 30-year lifespan. Yeah, that makes sense. Alex says, putting it out there that the container home could be temporary. For example, you buy a lot that costs $8 million, but you know you can't afford to build your home at the same time of the purchase. So it could be a temporary solution. That makes sense as well. And then and then Richie came back with, I think, part of the answer. So Richie says, the largest home they have on offer is listed as 800 square feet. Construction cost ranges from 90 to 130 US dollar per square foot. That gives a range of $11.2 to $16.1 million. So depending on the finishes, it can cost less. So the container home would cost a bit less than building yourself. What's it? Which one can cost less, the container home or building it yourself? I think you mean the container home can cost less because I think the prices are, yeah. So we have that 11.2 to 16.1 for 800 square feet. And then their homes cost up to $12 million. So yeah, it's not like the container home would cost less. All right, who is ready for the sneak peek at the Money Mission membership? Let me share my screen and show you what this membership community actually looks like. So this is the platform, and we have two ways that you can participate. So, well, once you are a member, you can participate in the membership community either through your desktop or on an app. And right now I'm showing you the desktop version. What is the objective of this community? The objective is simply to help people, bring people together. So a lot of you right now are in the comment section. You guys are chatting amongst each other. You guys are sharing tips. You are getting information from each other. Many people often ask questions and other people answer. That happens every week right here in the chat on Taking Stock. But what if it could happen every day? What if you could connect and communicate with other people who have a similar interest? That is what this membership is all about. So let's take a look at how it's structured. So you have different spaces. Once you join, you can follow some or all of these spaces. Here is your general feed. So right now we have Sachelle, who's a member, who asked a question, what do you guys think about the container homes? And a few people responded. Kristen, who is our producer, also a member, says she's definitely getting one. And other people, just commenting, some people just saying hello. So the point of this is that it's not about me sharing my content. I will share some content here, maybe all of my content, but it's not about my content. It really is about you guys coming together and connecting with each other. So once you are a member, you also have the opportunity to chat privately with other members. So here are some chats that I, was doing. You can get notifications as to who's, in there. You can see the main feed, what's going on. You can post your opinions in here. So you can share what's on your mind. So perhaps you have an opinion right now on what we just spoke about regarding container homes or regarding digital currencies. You can say, I hate digital currencies, and then see what other people in the space think about that. Or you can post a poll in this group. What do other people think? I see in the chat, somebody was talking about, let me see if I can find it again. A couple of you were asking about phosphorus in the chat, right? So you could put that here and you can say, what's going on? There we go. What's going on with Phosrich? And then other members of the community can respond to you. And so don't notify right now. What's going on with Phosrich? And then other members of the community can respond to you. So this is like group think, group work, and you get to, you know, forge that deep relationship with other people who have the same interests as you. So that's your general feed. Now, if you are an entrepreneur, you can follow the spaces for specifically for entrepreneurs. One of them is called funding. And in here is where we just put anything that allows you as an entrepreneur to get funding. So right now I saw that applications are open for DBJ JSC Venture Capital Room, and I have the link there. Lynk has also started a scan to pay QR codes option, so I posted that in there. JamPro has a new business gateway. And I just started posting stuff in here as funding opportunities. So Quartz Ready Cash is now, they're now a microfinancing institution called Blue Start Jamaica. Here is another one, Entrepreneurs Across Borders. They're doing an early stage investment seed fund in Jamaica. We actually want to talk about this on Taking Stock. So if you are an entrepreneur, then you want to be following this space. There's also the 10-minute loan from NCB. If you're an investor, I don't have anything here right now, but I could have put that same question, what's going on with Phosrich? And then other people who are in the space can answer that question. So you can post it in the regular investors feed. And once I post it here, it is going to show up on your general feed, I think. Let me see if it shows up on the general feed. Well, it doesn't show up twice because I already posted it there. What's going on with Phosrich? Yeah, so it shows up on your feed, and it shows up here twice because I posted it twice, both in the home and also in JA Investors. So the general feed is where you see what's all the spaces that you are following. So if you're following entrepreneurs and you're also following JA Investors, then you can just get everything accumulated on the main feed. Now, this is also open. These are some other features of being a member of the community. So it's primarily about bringing you guys together, but we're also offering you several free resources. So you have your document space, and this is stuff that you guys ask us for all the time. Here are your free resources, documents. I think my internet is moving a bit slow. All right, so here we go. Jamaica Broker Guide. You can just click this image, download the broker guide. You can get financial terms made simple. Click this image, download financial terms made simple. The build your budget template, which is in high demand. You can get that as a part of the membership. And our best credit cards document that people always ask me for, that is part of the membership. We also have some free courses, how to read financial statements, which is, guys, when I was putting this together, I'm like, really? Should this be a part of the basic membership? Because the information is just so good. There is videos in here, and there's all the, all of this information via text, so you can go back and review it. It's a balance sheet, profit and loss statement, cash flow statement. Also have a little quiz going on in there. Let's see how much you learned. And then the answers are there as well. You have Caribbean stock markets. All of this comes as part of your basic membership and how to use JTrader Pro. Now, the basic membership costs $30 a month for this subscription. And then the premium membership, now let me tell you about that. Oh, we are now looking for foundation members. I want you to be a foundation member of the Money Mission membership community. If you subscribe between now and May 15, you become a foundation member. In addition to all this access, all this cool stuff that you're getting, if you're one of the first 20, you get one of these Let's Get This Money t-shirts for free. You also get an invitation to the Money Mission launch party which is going to be sometime in June. Right now it's June 29, but I might be moving that up. And if you subscribe to the premium now, let's talk about the VIP option, the premium option. You get all of those things, plus you get access to our premium courses. So we have the Build Your Budget Challenge, set your financial goals and make a plan to reach them. This challenge is going to start on the 22nd. It's a 5-week challenge. So we have your course content here. You have an introductory video, some of your course content, and then we have our 5-week challenge happening inside the membership. So Monday, May 22nd, it's going to be the first Monday of every week for 5 weeks. That is coming up. And you can purchase this challenge separately. It costs $100, or you can purchase it as part of the premium package. So you get Build Your Budget Challenge, you get Debt Do-Over. All of these are included. You get Investing for Beginners, which is our most popular course. These are all the parts. You get Finding Great Companies, which is Keisha's masterclass. And you get a live Q&A with me on the first Thursday of every month. So ask me anything, live Q&A. And this actually, the live Q&A is for both basic and premium members. So the premium members now, let me tell you, Build Your Budget is $100. Debt Do-Over is $100. That's $200. Investing for Beginners is $150. So that's $350. Finding Great Companies is $100. So that's $450. And the monthly membership is $30 a month times 12 months. So that's $360. Plus you get a t-shirt if you're one of the first 20. So that's total $840 in value. You are getting all of this for $270. $270. And you get to join me at the launch party in June, whatever date that is. You can come take your picture with me. You can hang out with the KRM crew. Food and drinks on me. I would love to see you guys be a part of the Money Mission membership. It's $30 a month or $270 a year. And with your annual subscription, you get all the premium stuff. So who is ready to join? I want to say, let's get this money. I want you guys to come get the money with me so we can all, as we say, get the money together. I'm excited about it. The link is in the description. If it is not yet, then we're going to put it in there. Is the merch available online? Yes, it is available on my website, KalilaReynolds.com/store. Let me just post that comment right here for OG197. Am I typing foolishness? Reynolds.com/store. And that's where you can get the merch. And then if you want to join the membership, my internet is moving a little bit slow. Join the Money Mission membership. Money Mission membership community. And here is the link at moneymission.mn.co. All right, cool. So looking forward to seeing you guys at the launch party. I want to see you become foundation members. One last thing, if you join before the 15th of May, you become a foundation member and you lock in this rate for life. So no matter how many times I raise the price of the membership, because you know inflation, you will still pay the same price. As long as you maintain your membership in good standing, you're going to lock in this rate for life. So I want to see you guys. Head over to the website, to the membership community, and become a member today. Let's get this money, guys. Thank you so much for joining me yet another week. And see you guys in the Money Mission community. Good night.
Let's get this money.